They call me Superman, beat tall hoes in a single bound. I'm single now, got no ring on his finger now. I never let another chick bring me down in a relationship.
Hey everyone, this is Rachel. Thanks for clicking on my video. And I came in today to do something a little fun. And what it is I have been talking to my kids about what it was like when I was growing up and how things were a little different. You know, what we were like as kids and the world that we lived in, from what our homes were like, what we did when we went outside to play, and just all the things that we did when we were growing up. And my kids were laughing about some of the things that I was telling them about. So I just wanted to start by looking at some of those things. Now, the first thing I told them about is what it was like to do laundry when I was little. Now, my mother had a washing machine like this, and I remember on washing day, she would be in there sweating and wringing out clothes. So the way that this thing worked is, you know, you had water fed into it, and then the clothes would jiggle around, and then when it was time for the water to go out and your mother had to wring the clothes out, she would take it through those little rollers, piece by piece. Can you imagine what it was like on laundry day? And then you had to wait for it to fill back up. Now, that was a little bit better than what my grandmother had, because my grandmother talked about scrubbing clothes on a scrub board and then winding it through those two rollers, and then the dirty water came out. Then you had to fill up both and empty out the dirty water. Child, I would have been cleaning shit down at the river. I don't know. That's a lot of work. And then remember when the phone used to ring, and the phones that we had looked like this. And you remember that ring that it used to have, that loud ring? And then remember what it was like when you had to dial a number. Just imagine trying to dial 911 with that, because you would dial the number and then wait for that thing to come back, and then dial the next number, and then and it would come back. Man, that was a long time it took to dial a number. When I look at those phones, I crack up. And then remember how you used to turn it up on the side? But that was still better than this phone. Imagine dialing on this when you have to call and say, Sarah, would you get me Maine 25473? Now, these are probably the phones that our grandmother used. But also remember phone booths? I was trying to explain to my kids about phone booths, and they think it is hilarious. Remember how you would go in it at night and shut the door and the light would come on? It would be a telephone book hanging in there. You got to have all your change ready. I'm telling you, things have sure changed, because look at the phones that we have today. We could have only dreamed about these. And then remember the music that we listened to. Now, when I was younger, I had one of these in my bedroom. I had me some 8-track tapes, and I remember the first 8-track tape that I got. It was a Prince 8-track tape. And I remember I used to be in my room playing that, and remember how the tape in it would get kinked up, and you had to take a pen and try to unkink the tape. Man, when you look at these things, this shit look crazy now. My kids think this is funny. They have no concept of this at all. Then after this, along came cassette tapes. Now, these were a little bit more compact. You could write on them and all that. Still the kink. And then on from that was CDs. And then you remember the little Sony Walkmans that everybody had, and you wanted one. And then look at what we have today. You got this thing that you can hold in your hand, and you have an earpiece, and you good to go. And then remember what it was like to watch TV. Everybody had one of these in their living room. And remember, your mom used to make you come and fix the antenna and turn the channel, because wasn't no remote. You were the remote back then. You could be upstairs in your room with the door closed, music blasting. Your mother would be down the stairs screaming your name. And then when you get downstairs, they like, turn the television for me. I used to want to pop my mother in the head when she used to do that, because my mother was good for that. She would be laying on the couch, and then she would call us to come in there and turn that damn television. And then these came out. Now, if you had one of these in your house, you had a little bit of money, because this was the television, the record player, the radio, everything. Had some speakers, it was doing it. Now, your mama still had you down there turning that damn television. And I don't even remember how to turn that one, what we had to do to turn it, or if it had a remote. I doubt it. But then we moved on to these. Look at this, y'all. The difference in what we had to what they had trips you out. Then you got a computer. I remember when I got my first computer, you had to have all this shit right here with it. And it was so different than what we have now. I remember I actually had to go to this little center and learn, computers, because they were the new thing of the future. And they taught us all how to work it and how to find everything. And I'm glad I went to that little 3 months computer class, because when I went to that back in the 80s, it changed my work life seriously for the type of jobs and the amount of money I could make. Then look what it gave way to. These little bitty old things that we using now. And then, y'all, the one thing that freaks me out is Skype. Now, back in the day, we could never have dreamed of this. Sometimes when I'm Skyping with my daughter, I'm thinking about Star Trek and the Jetsons, and how, all the stuff that we saw in the Jetsons. And now, like, it's like we're really using this kind of stuff. And, it just takes me back to those sci-fi shows of the 70s, like Twilight Zone and Outer Limits. Anybody who's over a certain age, they remember those. Now, the next thing I told my kids about are stoves. I remember my grandmother had this big old stove in her kitchen. I mean, this stove had compartments, all these different burners and ovens and broilers and grillers. And all I know is that every time you went into her kitchen, something was on the stove cooking. Those stoves at Thanksgiving, I remember it was like 2 ovens, and they would have the turkey in this one and dressing, and were pies in another one. I mean, these stoves were something else. And I remember my mother had a smaller version of what my grandmother had, but it still had all that stuff going on. Look at all that. I would love to have one of those stoves now. 2 ovens, then them little drawers at the bottom. Now, I'm older now. I don't remember were those drawers broilers. I don't even remember. Y'all might be able to refresh my memory, but I love those stoves. And then remember when you were younger and you wanted a snack and you were doing this? I remember my mother used to go in there with her big 80-pound bag of these kernels and be making us some popcorn. Now, this stuff took all day. She had to get the grease hot and all that stuff, and then shake the shit. Shake, 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 shake. Then you would hear the popcorn in there popping, and then she would take it out and put it in bowls and drizzle butter that she had to melt over it, then sprinkle some salt. That shit was a lot of work, but the popcorn was good. It was some good popcorn. I don't know if it was my mother or the popcorn, but then along came Jiffy popcorn. Now, my mama wasn't buying it. She only got this shit on special occasions, because she would tell us in a minute her 80-pound bag of popcorn was $1.99 and Jiffy was $3.99, and you were only getting about 2 bags in there. So mama wasn't buying it, but we did get this shit on special occasions. Then along came this bad baby right here, and this changed the game. You know what? When we first got our first microwave, that shit was big as hell. It had knobs on it, and I remember my mother was a little, skeptical about using it. She was talking about that it was gonna give us microwaves, and I didn't even know what the hell she was talking about. All I know is that it cooked the food fast. Before this, you had to wait till your mother heat shit up. She would be putting meat in the oven and waiting for shit and putting water in this, and this had to have a top and some aluminum foil. But when the microwave came, she could fix your plate and throw it in the microwave, and it'd be done in a couple minutes, which in turn gave way to this invention: microwavable popcorn. Now, y'all, let me just tell y'all, I love popcorn. I loved it when I was younger, and I loved it now. So when microwavable popcorn came out, I was like, yes, because you ain't got to shake shit, you ain't got to wait for shit to rise, you don't got to be melting no butter, you don't got to be salting anything. You put that shit in the microwave, 2 minutes or less, it is done, and everything is done for you. To me, this is one of the greatest inventions of all time: microwavable popcorn. And then remember when it was time for us to go outside and play. Who did not have one of these? Now, my brother could skateboard his ass off, and he used to try to teach me how to skateboard. Now, a couple times I have fucked myself up on the goddamn skateboard. I would be laying out there damn near in traction because I be done slipped, and that shit be done went from under me, and I'll be laying out there in the street on my back, barely able to breathe. And you know how your brothers are, they would be like, shake that shit off and get up and let's get back on it. And I used to be laying out there like, I think my back is broke, call mommy, and they would be laughing at me. And then now this was my thing: I could skate. I was like 2D on Facts of Life. I used to skate everywhere I went. Many a store owner when I was younger used to damn near cuss me out because, back then they could cuss kids out. Take them goddamn stakes off before you come in here. Because I used to skate everywhere I went. I could just do everything on skates. I used these things until one day I ran into a pole, and after that I said fuck a skate because I was fucked up. And now we have this fucking hoverboard. Now my nephew has one of these. I won't even try to stand on this damn thing because it looks like you would be fucked up trying to stand on that. And also, these little bitches catch fire. And I am not going to be no old woman, or I'm not going to say old. I am quite middle-aged, but ain't no way I'm going to be a middle-aged woman standing on one of those, it slipped from under me, and then the bitch catch fire. That is not going to happen to me, folks. No way, no how. I will stick to the old things. Remember this: when we used to go out and jump rope, double dutch. I could never do that shit. And besides, I think them tall bitches in the neighborhood was trying to trip me up. They would be turning so fast, it would look like a speeded up movie. And they would catch my legs in there, and then I would fall on the ground and damn near fuck myself up. Elbows would be all scraped up, knees would be all scraped up, and then they would be singing those little songs. Y'all remember that? Double dutching out in the street, and them two burly bitches would be turning the rope and damn near slicing you up with the rope. It was crazy. It was crazy. And then remember when we used to go to the playground? Look at this playground equipment, y'all. That shit is all metal. Didn't our mothers know that that shit was dangerous? And y'all see that thing in the front? Remember when you used to get on there and you used to be whirling around, and then you would get off and then you would be dizzy and then you almost throw up? I done threw up many a time. And then remember the monkey bars? I done fell off those on my goddamn head. Sliding down. Remember we used to, in the wintertime, we would slide down the sliding board, use it like a ramp. What the hell were we thinking? We would have cardboard boxes, go to the top of that bitch and slide down. Man, I think we had a death wish. This was shit my brothers used to be daring me to do. And my dumb ass would be like, okay. I would get up on there, slide down, and then be airborne for a few seconds, praying that I land right so I don't be fucked up when I land. My God, my brothers, my brothers. And then remember when you were thirsty and your mother gave you a little few change to get you something to drink. Y'all remember these cans? Now, this is old. This is old, old. I think this might be a little bit before my time. I'm not sure. But I remember cans. But I more remember bottles. Bottles of pop. Because you would drink the pop and then you could take the pop bottles back and you would get money for them. Now, me and my little cousins, we were some thieves. Everybody used to put their pop bottles on their back porch and they would have like a crate. And then when the dad would go, he would take the bottles, back to the store. Well, our little criminal asses, we used to go to every backyard up on their porch and steal their goddamn bottles. Now, the whole reason why we were stealing these bottles is so we can go get us some candy. Now, when I tell y'all we would have a wagon, we wasn't even like trying to keep it under cover. We were so stupid. We would steal all these bottles and then put them in our little red wagon and be jangling down down the fucking street with all these damn bottles and people. Now, we would be going past all the neighbors' house now, y'all. And then, like, they wouldn't notice it to the day that they went to retrieve their bottles off the back porch and their bottles would be missing. So then they would be saying, it was them goddamn kids down the street done stole our fucking bottles. But, that was just, we was some little kids. We didn't know. We was like, we need some candy. They got some bottles, so we still in their bottles. Now, of course, once they went and told our parents, we would get our ass whipped because, again, these were different times and parents could beat your ass back then. Then along came these damn things. These changed up the game. No more stealing bottles to get candy. When they came out with these plastic bastards, you would just drink your damn pop. The container would be empty and then you throw it away. So that was it. And remember going to get some candy, y'all. Now, when I was growing up, this is what the candy store looked like. Now, remember, we were still in bottles. So we were going to the candy store to get us some damn candy. And we would be in there for like an hour. We would have like 50 cents. I know those people hated us, y'all. And we'd be like, because back then you could get like 3 pieces of penny candy for a penny. Did y'all hear that? You would get 3 pieces of candy for a penny. So we got 50 cents. We trying to make our 50 cent last. You could get you a pickle, some pretzel sticks, penny candy, now later's candy bars. You could get a can of pop. 50 cent bought a lot when I was little. And just imagine standing there and you got all this shit to choose from. Now, mind you, we would try to distract the store owner. And you see them little baskets down there? Me and my little cousins, we would have been stealing some candy. Y'all, we wasn't right. We was some badass kids. We just wanted some candy, that's all. And we was getting some candy by any means necessary. Now, unfortunately, our parents may have had a bill at the store, and unbeknownst to us, the store owner may have been charging the stolen candy that we had to our parents' bill. So at the end of the month, when our parent would go up there to pay off their bill or the end of the week or however parents paid their bill, the store owner would have like a little extra, maybe $10 on there, and our parent would be like cussing the store owner out. I ain't buy this goddamn stuff. Where did this $10 come from? And then they would tell them, well, your kid's been up here stealing candy all week, And then, our parent would have to pay it. And of course, when they came home, as always, we got our asses beat. Whoa, we was some bad kids, y'all. We was so bad. And remember when your dad would pile everybody into the car and y'all go to the beach or something? Well, this is the car, the SUV of my youth, a station wagon. A lot of them had 3 rows of seats. Mom would pack all food and put it in the back, and it'd be blankets and all the stuff she needed for a little picnic we gonna have at the beach. Now I remember one time we had went with my cousins, and they were a little bit younger than me. And we were in the second seats, the second row of seats. And my little cousins they were in the third row of seats. And I think I was arguing with one of my little cousins, and him and his little sister took a belt and choked the shit out of me till I passed out. Now I'm choking, so I can't yell to my mother and father that, my little cousins are choking the shit out of me because I couldn't talk. So when we get there, I guess I had been unconscious for a few minutes. And when my mother opened up the second set of doors, she was like, "Oh, Rochelle, you were asleep?" And I was thinking to myself, no, I wouldn't sleep. Your sister's kids that choked the shit out of me, and I actually was unconscious. I was telling my kids about this, and they were like, "Did they get in trouble?" I was like, I don't even remember if I told. I think I was so happy to be alive, I probably didn't even tell my parents. Man, my crazy ass cousins. Then remember when you got to the beach, your parents would get posted all up on the sand under a tree. Your dad would pull out his cooler of beer, and he meet some friends there at the beach, and they just be up there getting drunk while we were out in the water, just playing. We could have drowned, and they up there drinking beer and chit chatting, and we rowing boats and shit, and out there playing with our little rubber caps. And your mother be like, "Don't get your hair wet. I ain't straightening your hair till next Saturday." And you be sitting up there thinking, "I ain't thinking about this one. I'm having me some fun. I'm having fun." And then y'all remember when the school week was over and it was Saturday morning and you were watching cartoons. I remember me and my brothers used to be fighting over what we gonna watch, and it was two of them and one of me. And my mother used to be like, "Vote." And I used to be thinking, "Vote? I'm gonna lose because it's two of them. I'm gonna be watching Power Rangers and whatever boys like." And they would be beating me up all while my parents are in the bed, like, "You better say you want to watch this." And I used to be thinking, now I'm the oldest, I used to be thinking, you know what? I am sick of them. I want to watch what I want to watch. But I would never win because we had to vote. And then remember, you couldn't wake your parents up on Saturday morning because they had been working all week. So you would be eating some cereal. Now, this is the cereal that we used to eat. And I remember it used to be a little prize in the cereal. And my little brother, Kevin, the ass kicking one, he would choke me, put me in a headlock, trying to get this little prize. Now, he trying to choke his damn sister to death to get a car or a little plastic helicopter. And I could have been in the hospital on life support over a fucking plastic helicopter, y'all. And then remember when you were in the living room and our parents' living rooms looked like this back in the 70s? Man, look at that furniture. Look at that cocktail table. And you wouldn't land on the floor with your blanket and your pillow. You wanted to be on the couch because you got your cereal, you posted up, you watching all your cartoons on Saturday morning, and your brother would be like, "I'm telling mommy you on her furniture," and you'd be like, "Shut up, don't wake mommy up, because if you wake her up, we gonna get a whooping." And then your brother yelling, and eventually your mother wake up and come in there, or it's your dad, and like, "Y'all kids, shut up." And then why did they have a bar? Every house back then had a little bar. Now, when we was older, we was trying to sip on their shit, but I guess they got hip and they was hiding their stuff because we started putting water in it. We was teenagers. Y'all, we was bad. We was bad. And then everybody, mother had this damn same furniture with that fucking plastic on it. This one you didn't want to get on mommy furniture because you be done, like D.L. Hughley said, fell asleep, woke up, you be dehydrated because you be done sweated your shit out on that damn furniture. Look at that shit. What was on their minds? I guess they was trying to keep us off their furniture. I don't know. And then remember sitting on the front porch. Did y'all have this kind of furniture? I remember my grandmother had it. My mother had it. Now that was some good sturdy ass porch furniture. And actually nowadays, people don't really have porches like they used to. But remember, you used to be walking down the street and all the old people, the nosy old people that told everything on you, would be sitting on one of them gliders, fanning themselves out on the porch. I remember one time we got some eggs, and it was dark, and some old people were sitting on the porch. We got 2 dozen of eggs, and let me just say this: we ran down the street throwing eggs, busting them all in their foreheads from telling shit on us all during our lives. And y'all remember those pillows that used to be on that porch furniture? Wasn't them some stinky ass mildew pillows? Now I don't know, but it was those green and white pillows right there. And I remember every year we used to have to dig those out the garage, and my father used to be like spraying those things off, and you used to be wanting to say, just get some new ones, these things stink. But they love those pillows, and they lasted. Back then they made shit to last, so they probably lasted like 20 years. And then remember when your mom used to go say you were going to the movies. And back then you would see 2 to 3 movies for, just one admission. And they would have, now we wouldn't see The Godfather and stuff like that because, that was rated R. But they would have like 2 little movies that maybe about hour and 15 minutes. I mean, you would be in the movies all day. And of course, you know, the parents that we had back in the day, they would pack shit. My mother would be making hamburgers, the hamburgers that she cutting up shit and putting it in a bowl and seasoning it. My mother would have potato chips, cans of pops, bags of cookies. She be done pop some of her popcorn. She be done, use the old fashioned shaking it on the stove, popping her popcorn. She put that in some baggies. It'll be all crushed by the time we get there, but we got some popcorn, and you better not complain that it's crushed flat, or she's subject to slap the shit out of you in the dark. I mean, her and my aunt used to be on the phone like, girl, what you bringing? What you bringing? And then we would get there, and my aunt would have all this. My mother would stop at the corner store, get like 50 cents worth of penny candy. We had to stand there while she separated out into these little paper bags for 4 of us, and then she would put that in her purse. My mother's purse would be so full with all the shit she bought. I don't even know how those people didn't know my mother had all that shit in her bag. And then remember when you used to have a cookout at your house, and your mother might be cooking this, that, and the other, and she get on the phone and they be talking about what everybody's gonna bring, and you would hear them on the phone saying stuff like, now I hope May don't make that nasty ass potato salad that she made last year, and then such and such gonna bring them beans. Girl, look, I'm not eating her goddamn beans. You would be sitting in the kitchen hearing her talk about everybody. But then when they would get there, how you doing? How y'all doing? It's good to see you. Oh, girl, I'm so glad you bought that macaroni and cheese. We love your macaroni and cheese, or we love your potato salad. And then you don't know, and you be like, well, mommy, I thought you said that Aunt May's potato salad is nasty or something. They be done smack the hell out of you before you can get the last words out. But I remember those cookouts and everybody coming over. I remember my grandfather, because we lived right along the lake. My grandfather would go fishing, and he would bring back all this fish. And my grandfather would dig these little pits, and then, put the fish on the little improvised pit that he would build in the ground. And then when I tell y'all that was some good fish, it was some good fish. And then my grandmother had a peach tree in the backyard, and we would be getting peaches. And during the day we would pick her some peaches, and she would make trays and trays of peach cobbler, and all my aunts would bring all their little special stuff over, and we would all be in the backyard, and then we would get music going and do the Soul Train line. Your parents be sipping all day, so by the time the evening come, half of them is half cocked. Then they get to reminiscing about when they were younger, and laughing and joking and dancing. And then you always had that one aunt with her crooked wig, and she would get drunk, and her and her husband would get in an argument, and it'd be funny to us kids, but the grown-ups be like, nah. See, that's why we don't invite y'all over, because every time y'all come over, y'all come over showing y'all asses. But you know what, y'all? This was how it was when we were growing up. It was just fun, just growing up and things were innocent. So now that I've done my video, I wanted to offer a video challenge. Now it doesn't have to be as long as mine. Of course, y'all know I am long-winded. So I just wanted you guys to, if you watch this video and you do videos here on YouTube, do a throwback video of when you were younger, things that you remember happening, the candy you ate, the places you went, some of the funny things that your parents did. Because man, I got many a story about, when I was growing up, and funny shit that my parents did, that now that I'm older and I'm a parent, you ask them about it. Well, why did you do this, that, and the other? And they just chuckle and be like, look, y'all was driving us crazy. So, if we appeared to be a little crazy when y'all was growing up, we probably were, because you kids had driven us crazy. So again, this is a video challenge. If you do videos, let's do like a little tag video where you talk about things that happened when you were younger. So as always, thanks for watching my video, and you guys have a great day. Bye bye now.